Unfortunately, the death toll has risen, and with 12 other victims who have been in surgery using some 64 units of blood so far, they're not out of the woods yet, and that figure could rise as well. I guess technically it's 27 if you include the gunman so far. The Prime Minister arrived in the town, which is about 3.5 hours drive from Bangkok in the northeast of the country. He flew into a military airport and then went around at least 3 hospitals, visiting some of the injured, some of the victims, and trying to provide comfort to them.
President Trump has fired another senior official who testified against him in the impeachment inquiry. Gordon Sondland, the United States ambassador to the EU, was ousted just hours after Lieutenant Alexander Vindman, who'd worked as an expert on Ukraine at the White House. Vindman had testified in impeachment hearings that he didn't think it was proper for Trump to demand that a foreign government investigate former Vice President Joe Biden and his son. Trump survived impeachment because the Republican-dominated Senate voted in his favor.
Tonight, 4 U.S. military officials telling NBC News that multiple U.S. troops have been killed and wounded in eastern Afghanistan. A U.S. military spokesperson in Kabul releasing this statement. A combined U.S. and Afghan force conducting an operation in Nangarhar province was engaged by direct fire on February 8th. We are assessing the situation and will provide further updates as they become available. Both the Taliban and ISIS operate in Nangarhar province, which sits along the border with Pakistan. This attack comes as the U.S. tries to end the nearly 2-decade-long war in Afghanistan. At his State of the Union address last week, President Trump said peace talks are underway.
As of this morning, the death toll in China has hit 811, with the number of confirmed infections exceeding 37,000. China's National Health Commission said on Sunday that 81 additional deaths and over 2,000 new cases have been reported from Hubei province, the epicenter of the outbreak. In France, 5 British people have contracted the virus at a ski resort in the French Alps. The French authorities said on Saturday that the family of 4 adults and 1 child had come into contact with another British person who had been to Singapore. On the same day, 7 new cases were reported in Singapore, while Japan confirmed 3 more cases. This brings the total number of infections outside China to 355, and death toll stands at 2.
Fighting on Friday night in southern Kazakhstan brought this village to a standstill. Footage on social media, which cannot be independently verified, shows houses and commercial properties up in smoke and cars overturned as armed men embroiled in confrontation throwing rocks. Dozens of people were injured and others killed. It's unclear what caused the violence in the Kodai district of Jambil region. The area where the fighting took place is home to ethnic Kazakhs and the Dungan minority group, Muslims of Chinese ethnic origin. While Kazakhstan's authorities declared a state of emergency, the president has called for calm.
As Virginia lawmakers continue to pass restrictive gun control measures, more states are fighting back by declaring themselves Second Amendment sanctuaries.
Just as we believe in the First Amendment, we also believe in another constitutional right that is under siege all across our country. So long as I am president, I will always protect your Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms.
As the president continues to take a strong stance on the Second Amendment, citizens across the nation follow his lead. A swath of counties across the U.S. are introducing legislation to become Second Amendment sanctuaries. Florida, Arizona, and North Carolina are some of the most recent states to have residents attend board meetings to show support for sanctuary resolutions.
लोगों को सब दिया जाता है ये चीजें।
They're conditions we haven't seen in more than 20 years. Sydney lashed by torrential rain, raging floods and destructive winds. While the low-pressure system is now slowly moving south, it's caused havoc in almost every suburb it smashed into.
Day 3 and the worst yet. Every inch of Sydney, not just soggy, but soaked. Rain coming down in every direction. Trees falling like dominoes. This home at Bayview split down the middle.
It's neck and neck between Ireland's three biggest parties. An exit poll has Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil and Sinn Fein each winning about 22% of voters' first choice of candidate. If this is accurate, there's a huge task ahead in terms of forming a government. For the first time ever in the Republic, it looks like Sinn Fein, led by Mary Lou MacDonald, has performed well enough to be critical to coalition talks. Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, the two parties that have traditionally dominated Irish politics, have ruled out allying with Sinn Fein because of its historical links to the IRA. While Sinn Fein is a major force in Northern Ireland, it has long been a minor player south of the border.
Conditions here are really tough. It's raining hard now, it's very cold, especially at night, and all the pathways have just turned to mud.